Good evening, everyone. Today I want to talk about something I never expected to happen after more than 20 years of playing World of Warcraft. Recently, I received a permanent ban on my WoW account. That ban was later reduced to a 6-month suspension after a successful appeal. Now, this presentation is not really about whether Blizzard should ban players. In fact, I support them taking action against cheaters, bots, and people who generally violate the rules. What this presentation is about is something different. It's about what happens when a longtime customer receives a major account action and is unable to get meaningful information about why it's happened. This is my story, my account, and my perspective. So, what happened? Let's start with the facts. I received a permanent ban. After appealing, the permanent ban was reduced to a 6-month suspension. The reason given was that I violated Blizzard's in game code of conduct. What I was never given was a clear explanation of what specific action, behavior, software, or event caused that determination. That lack of information is what ultimately led me to create this presentation. So, who am I? I'm nobody special. I'm not a streamer. I'm not a content creator, clearly. I'm not a professional player. I'm a 50-year-old World of Warcraft player who started during launch and has played through every expansion. For more than 20 years, I've never received a warning, suspension, or disciplinary action on my account. In fact, I was one of those players who always thought if somebody got banned, they probably did something. But World of Warcraft was never just a game to me. It was something my family shared. My father played it. My son grew up around it. When my son was 4 or 5 years old, I'd sit him down with a bowl of Cheetos and let him fish on my character. He absolutely loved it. At the time, I was in a fairly hardcore raiding guild. My guildmates knew my son, and they would patrol around his fishing spot in the Barrens, ensuring no mobs bothered him while he was fishing. To this day, that's one of my favorite memories from gaming. For a period of time, we had 3 generations of our playing World of Warcraft together. My dad, myself, and my son, once he had grown up a bit. Me on my Tauren warrior, my son on his Tauren blood DK, and my dad on any one of a million different hunters. 3 generations sharing one game. Those days are gone now. My father no longer plays. My son's grown up and moved on to other games, but the account remained. So for me, this account isn't just a collection of characters and achievement, it's a record of 20 years of memories, friendships, family experiences, and a major chapter of my life. That's why this situation matters to me. So when the ban happened, my first reaction wasn't anger, it was confusion. So here's the first ticket. My first appeal was simple. This was my appeal to the permanent ban. I asked a question. What happened? I play almost entirely solo these days. I couldn't think of anyone who would have ever reported me. I couldn't think of any behavior that would have triggered this. The response I received stated that the case would be escalated for review. At that point, I felt optimistic. It sounded like someone was going to investigate what happened and provide answers. The second ticket, after I was informed it had been reviewed and the decision upheld, I submitted a second appeal. I did discover the ban had been changed to a 6-month ban now, not a permanent ban. This time I explained that I never botted, cheated, or knowingly violated the rules. I thought this must be a false positive. Could this have been a reporting issue? Could an automated system have made a mistake? The response I received was essentially a policy statement. The action had been taken according to Blizzard's policies and terms of service. The punishment remained, although adjusted to a 6-month ban. The explanation never arrived. I appealed again, requesting additional information. With this ticket, the goal had changed. I wasn't even asking to be unbanned. I was asking for understanding. I was asking, had an add-on caused the issue? Tell me. If a behavior caused the issue, tell me. If I unknowingly violated a rule, educate me. I explained that I wanted to know what happened so I could prevent it from happening again. The response I received informed me that the permanent ban had been reduced to a 6-month suspension. That was certainly better than a permanent ban, but it still didn't answer the question that started this entire process. What exactly happened? At this point, I tried a different approach. I submitted my add-on list. I thought perhaps there was an add-on causing the problem. Blizzard has done a massive revamp with their what add-ons are permitted to do what. So I thought maybe I was using something that Blizzard considered problematic. Maybe there was a conflict or a false positive. I wasn't looking for an argument. I was looking for guidance. Help me identify the problem so I can fix it. Unfortunately, this is where things became even more frustrating. The ticket where I submitted my add-on list no longer appears in my support history. I can see my other appeal tickets, and in 20 years, I have 30. I cannot see the fourth one. I don't know if this is a technical issue, a support workflow issue, or something else entirely. I simply know that the ticket is gone. What makes this even stranger is that I still have the email acknowledging the ticket submission. The ticket clearly existed. The email exists. The ticket number exists. But when I follow the links into Blizzard's support system, I can no longer view the contents. At this point, I wasn't just missing answers, I was missing access to part of the conversation. But okay, so what? Why does any of this matter, right? This is what some people may be thinking. The reasons this matters is because customer support exists to help customers understand and resolve problems. If Blizzard is right, I want to know why they're right. If Blizzard is wrong, I want them to correct it. Those are both reasonable outcomes. But neither outcome is possible without information. Without information, there is no path to accountability. Without information, there is no opportunity to learn. Without information, there is no way to rebuild trust. And that is the core issue I have with this experience. Not necessarily the punishment itself, the complete inability to understand what caused it is at the root of my issues. So, what should you do, right? My advice to players is simple: be careful about paying for live subscription periods. Remember that digital ownership is different from physical ownership. Many of us invest years or even decades into online games, but ultimately, those accounts remain under the control of the company operating the service. If something happens, like a false positive, your ability to challenge that decision may be more limited than you expect. That is simply the reality of modern online gaming. What would I like from Blizzard? I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for transparency. Investigate my case. If this was a false positive, reverse the action and restore the lost time. That seems reasonable. If it was legitimate, explain what happened to me so that I can fix the issues. It's a 6-month ban. I'll be back in November, but I'm not sure I want to come back. I don't know what I've docilely done wrong. Why invest more money and time when I could just very likely end up with the same issue, especially if I don't change something? The problem is, I don't know what to change. Tell me what behavior it was, the software, the add-on, or the action triggering the enforcement. I work in IT. Did I accidentally leave one of my developer applications open when I was playing World of Warcraft? That's possible. If so, tell me. I'll fix the issue. Help me understand what occurred so I can ensure it never happens again. That's all I've been asking for since the beginning. An explanation. I want to finish this by being very clear. I support Blizzard taking action against bots. I support automation. I support AI systems to help process large volumes of reports and complaints. Those tools are necessary. But automation should never completely replace meaningful customer support because people make mistakes. Systems make mistakes. And when mistakes happen, customers need a way to understand what has occurred. After more than 20 years of playing World of Warcraft, after sharing this game with my father, my son, my friends, and my guildmates, that's all I've ever really wanted. Not special treatment, not favoritism, just answers. Thank you. Have a good day, night, depending on where you are. And remember, you do not own any of this. So protect yourselves.